What else? What else did I watch? Went to the movies and caught together the Dave Franco, Allison Brie horror movie, and wow, if this is not on your guys' radar, I, I don't know what you guys are doing. I mean, I know that a lot of people are hyped right now because of weapons. And I feel like that kind of took the glory a little bit of what's going on with this movie. But man, this was, first of all, it was a little bit different than what I expected. I didn't expect some of this sci-fi horror, like it kind of comes from something else. I thought it was going to be sort of like based on their relationship by chance, nature has decided. But it steps away from that and it introduces a few kind of localities in terms of the horror aspect, in terms of where it came from and why they are the way they are. But super strong performances. Dave Franco, Alison Brie, both just top notch. The way they went in on these roles, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Some of the most gruesome, intense things that they have to do to kind of continue. I mean, you could just kind of see in the picture exactly where this goes. But I really, really love the creative direction. I went and we saw it in theaters about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we were just Paige and I were ecstatic, and I love the idea of these two characters kind of honing into this horror element, and I would absolutely love more of this. I'm not saying necessarily a sequel, but I would love to. I would love to see Dave Franco and Alison Brie take in a little bit more of horror. I think it's exciting. I think they got I think they've got the vibe for it. Obviously, I'm loving Dave Franco as a horror director anyway. What's the other movie that they did? The Rental or something like that, which is also a really, really good movie. I enjoyed that as well. But loved it. Loved some guest appearances from Damon Harriman. Some of you might remember him from House of Wax, and what else was he in? He was in a Better Man that came out recently. I think he was he Charles Manson? I can't remember if he was, but I have a feeling that he was the one that played Charles Manson in both. Oh, he's the voice of Cabal. Yeah, okay, he was Charles Manson in Mindhunter, and he was Charles Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That kind of weird little situation that kind of happened, how he ended up playing both roles, and he plays them both so well. But love this movie. If you haven't seen it, it definitely will have you kind of flinching a little bit and squealing, and I love directed by Michael Shanks, by the way. I'm not too familiar with him. He did Rebooted, Time Trap, The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if that's kind of a Australian kind of project. But I really like this movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out together. I'm trying to think of what else I can say. I like the idea that it's not a huge location. Primarily takes place in their primary Airbnb, or not the Airbnb, their new where they moved. Yeah, can't say enough about it. Check it out if you guys haven't seen it. That's together. That's in theaters. Another thing I got to check out, the new release, a newer release on HBO Max on HBO. Was Freaky Tales, another new Pedro Pascal, Ben Mendelsohn, Dominic Thorne movie. And I should say I really like this movie. I like this movie. It was fun. It kind of tells a story in a few different chapters, which is fine, but really strong performances by Pedro Pascal. Of course, I mean, you can always rely on Pascal for good performance. Ben Mendelsohn, typically unsung, he's one of those actors, and we've talked about this before in other projects. He's one of those guys that, when he shows up in a movie, it is just going to be dope. I mean, he's just such a strong performer, whether it's in Ready Player One, his small role in Dark Knight Rises, Rogue One, a solo story, his role in Andor. I mean, not so much Secret Invasion, even though he killed the role as Talos. And we love him in Talos. We love him as Talos. The Outsider. I mean, The King. Such a strong actor. I am all about him showing up in any and every role. Jay Ellis, he plays the role of like some could argue probably the main character, so to speak, that a lot of this is kind of built around. Jay Ellis, plays Sleepy Floyd. Ji Young Woo, she plays Tina. Jack Champion, he's in here as Lucid. A lot of really, really good actors. And if you haven't seen it, it's essentially basically it's in this version of this world where something otherworldly, kind of not like an ooze, not like a light, but just kind of something in the form of a force takes place in the city of Oakland that kind of interconnects these 4 different characters. And so we're seeing four different stories. One predominantly between Sleepy Joe, I think the name was Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Floyd's character, Pedro Pascal's character, Dominic Thorne's character, and then Jack Champion's and Ji Young Yo's character. Those are the 4 primary stories, and a lot of it has to do with kicking the shit out of Nazis and all these otherworldly badass things and putting themselves in situations. So if you haven't checked this out yet, it's on Max. It's up. Highly suggest you do so. Definitely worth it.